Hello and a warm welcome to all of you, my fellow educators. I'm Dr. Sudhindra S.G. Today, I want to share something really powerful from my research, a mental model that I believe can truly transform not just what you teach, but more importantly, how your students learn.
So, let me start with a question, a pretty provocative one. What if I told you that the vast majority of your students' understanding, their aha moments, their real lasting success, what if all of that actually came from just a tiny fraction of your curriculum? Just think about that for a second.
Okay, so let's unpack that idea. The concept behind that question is a simple but really profound principle. It's known as the Pareto Principle, but you probably know it as the 80-20 rule.
So, what is it really? Well, it's not some strict, rigid law of physics. It's an observation about how things work in the world. You see this pattern everywhere. In a business, for instance, you'll often find that 20% of the customers are bringing in 80% of the revenue. Or, in computer programming, just 20% of the code can be responsible for 80% of the cool stuff the program actually does. It's this fascinating pattern of imbalance.
And this is what it looks like visually. It's this incredible imbalance, right? It shows us that not all effort is created equal. A small, super-focused input, that vital 20%, can create the lion's share of the results. And if we can wrap our heads around this, it's the key to unlocking some serious efficiency.
Right, so the really important part here isn't just about finding that magic 20%. The real power, the true art, comes from having the clarity and, honestly, the courage to get rid of, or at least push aside, that less impactful 80%.
This really shows you the two paths, doesn't it? On one hand, we can let our students just drown in this sea of details that don't really move the needle. Or we can guide them. We can help them master those core concepts that give them the biggest possible leap forward. Our job, really, is to help them find the signal in all the noise.
You know, this might all sound like some modern Silicon Valley productivity hack. But what's so incredible is that this principle of focus isn't new at all. It's actually a timeless idea, and you can hear its echoes all through the ancient wisdom of Indian texts.
Let's go way back to the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The great sage Yajnavalkya teaches this incredible method of discovery called Neti. It literally means not this, not this. It's this process of just stripping away everything that isn't essential. You keep going until only the pure essence, the absolute truth, is left. This is basically the soul of the Pareto Principle in philosophical form.
And we see this play out in the Mahabharata. Remember that famous story? Guru Drona is testing his students' archery skills, and he asks them, "What do you see?" Most of them describe the whole scene, the tree, the sky, the branches, but not Arjuna. He focused in. He simply said, "I see only the eye of the bird." He had blocked out all the noise to focus on the one tiny, vital target that guaranteed he'd succeed.
And it's the same thing in the Ramayana. The mission to find Sita seemed impossible, overwhelming. But Hanuman, he didn't get lost in analyzing every single option. He cut right through the noise. He identified the one single high-impact action that leaped to Lanka that would change everything. He put all his energy into the 20% of effort that would give him 80% of the result.
This idea even shines through in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna to focus on his Svadharma, his own essential duty, what is truly his to do. The point is, it's better to focus your energy on your main purpose, even if you don't do it perfectly, than to perfectly perform a bunch of tasks that aren't really yours to do in the first place.
Okay, so that's the philosophy, that's the history. But how do we take this amazing, timeless wisdom and actually use it? How do we make this a real, tangible tool in our classrooms, right now?
So I want you to take a second and really think about your own subject. Your lesson plans, how you grade. Where is your 20%? What are those few foundational ideas that if a student really gets them, unlocks 80% of the rest of the subject?
From my research, I've found a pretty simple 4-step guide helps. First, identify the core. Find those vital few concepts. Second, eliminate distractions. And this is the tough one, right? It takes guts to cut material we might even love, but that isn't absolutely essential. Third, iterate and refine. See what works, what doesn't, and adjust your approach. And finally, constantly ask yourself and your students that key question. Is this the absolute best use of our time?
And this is a skill you can give directly to your students, one they can use for their whole lives. When they're prepping for an exam, help them figure out the 20% of topics that almost always make up 80% of the marks. Or if they're learning a skill, like the guitar, show them how mastering just a handful of chords lets them play hundreds of popular songs. It's the same principle.
You see, this is so much bigger than a productivity hack. It's not just about getting more done. What we're really talking about here is the very art of learning itself. When you teach focus, when you teach elimination, you're handing your students a timeless skill. That's a true legacy.
So just look at the journey we've been on together. We started with a modern business idea and traced it all the way back to the heart of Indian wisdom. The Upanishads told us to strip away what's not essential. The Mahabharata showed us the raw power of focusing on the bird's eye, and the Ramayana proved the wisdom in making that one move that matters most. It's all the same message.
Whether it's in learning, in our work, or in our lives, it's always the vital few things that make the biggest difference. And as educators, I believe our greatest mission isn't just to teach our students what to learn, but to teach them how to learn. Because the real art, the one skill that will serve them for a lifetime, is knowing which few things truly matter.